GlobalMantics is a fictional company that appears in many Pluralsight courses, mostly because the name and logo are owned by Pluralsight, so authors can use it without risking a lawsuit. If you've seen GlobalMantics in other courses, you may have gotten the impression that it is staffed by an outstanding team of developers, IT personnel, and managers who enthusiastically use Pluralsight to learn and embrace best practices in every aspect of their jobs, whether it's learning the latest software libraries and techniques, or security practices, or even gaining management skills. Anyone watching these courses would be thrilled to work at GlobalMantics, and it may seem a shame that being a fictional company, only fictional characters can work there. But I'm here today to tell you the truth about GlobalMantics, or rather, to invent the truth, at least for the context of this course, since I am an author and it is a fictional company, and I'm not terribly worried about fictional lawsuits. As it turns out, GlobalMantics is a huge, chaotic, and very political organization. Some of the executives and managers are excellent. Most of them range from average to mediocre, and a few are downright evil. And as for the rest of the staff, they're pretty much the same, and turnover is always a challenge. Over the past few years, GlobalMantics has faced quite a few challenges with regards to managing data. It's not so much penetration by hackers. There have been issues, but the GlobalMantics security team is actually pretty good. I'm talking about problems with data quality and data integrity, and most of them have revolved around sales and revenue. Let me give you some examples. There was a time a few years back when the former chief financial officer boosted the profits for one quarter by modifying the close dates for some deals from one quarter into the previous one. Nobody realized it until the next quarter when profits were down, and everyone was trying to find out why. That led to some investor lawsuits and a lot of expense and pain. Ultimately, the data was there. The field history clearly showed the modifications. But it took a lot of work to figure that out. Worse, in the course of auditing and depositions, a lot of outsiders had to be given access to the Salesforce org, and who knows what else they may have seen or what data they may have downloaded. And now the investors are a lot less trusting, so they're requiring more auditing at every step. And let's not even talk about the Security Exchange Commission. There's also a constant battle to prevent tinkering with the sales numbers. The former VP of sales had a tendency to adjust sales numbers just before board meetings, something to do with incentive bonuses, and one or two salespeople were caught modifying deal amounts in order to meet quota. There was only one case where they tricked an admin into helping them out. In the others, security just wasn't configured quite correctly. And with so many people coming and going and so many profiles and roles, along with high turnover among the admins, there always seem to be issues where security configuration is not quite right. One time, it wasn't even a problem with GlobalMantic's data. One of the salespeople who had been let go filed a lawsuit for unpaid commissions. The records he turned over didn't match what was in the database. Ultimately, it turned out that they had faked some numbers and emails, but proving it was slow and costly, and again involved giving outside auditors access to Salesforce and carefully examining the various audit fields. GlobalMantics was never quite able to prove that a leak of a confidential customer list was related to access by a consultant brought in by the auditing firm. In short, data management at GlobalMantics was, well, not a total mess, but certainly far less than perfect, and those imperfections were causing significant expense and a serious drop in trust and confidence within and outside of the company. GlobalMantic's new CEO is frustrated, to say the least. Her marching orders are clear. Closed deal transactions need to be recorded in a secure, immutable ledger. It needs to be verified daily. If anything is modified, she wants to know right away, not 6 months later when defending a lawsuit. And she wants to be able to prove every transaction to anyone, salespeople, investors, government agencies, and auditors. But at the same time, she wants to keep all of the transaction data confidential, revealing it and proving transactions purely on a need-to-know basis. So for example, if there is a dispute on a deal amount between the company and a salesperson, she can reveal only that one transaction while still providing absolute proof that that transaction and all of the others have been unchanged from the time they were recorded. And she wants to be able to do this without granting outsiders access to their Salesforce instance. It sounds like a tall order, but it's probably no surprise to you that this is exactly the kind of problem that a private blockchain can address. Salesforce offers excellent security, and it provides excellent support for auditing fields and records. But as GlobalMantics found out the hard way, technology isn't enough. Security is useless if it isn't configured and used correctly, and can fail if people are not trustworthy or skilled. Audit fields can fail if they aren't set up correctly or aren't monitored religiously and correctly. And many of the problems that real enterprises face aren't so much technological problems as problems with people and relationships. Building a blockchain ledger on Salesforce can address these real-world issues. Blockchains are easy to validate. Instead of examining field history on records and trying to decide if each one is valid, you just examine the integrity of the chain. Security is relatively simple as well, as you will see. There remain, however, two issues we need to address. The first is the original question, how does one make a ledger immutable in Salesforce? And how does one create an immutable ledger while still keeping the transactions private?